say something?
I would just jump in. I think to your question, I mean, fundamentally the reason that someone like Rauf is asked those questions is because there is a bigotry at work. There is an assumption that if you are Muslim, you must answer for certain things collectively. Therefore, you have to answer this question in order for us to be okay with you or whatever. And you know, I think that I can understand why it happens, and I think to Jane's point, you know, this seems to happen every few generations, and you know, we shouldn't, I don't want to trivialize it, but you know, we've been as a country, in a very realist sense, pretty fortunate insofar as we have not, you know, ethnically cleansed our minorities, as has happened in a lot of other countries, you know, in many other Western countries, for example, Jewish population, case in point. So, you know, again, this happens every few generations with a sort of new population. A series of questions are drawn up. The assumption is that you have to prove that you're American, and it happens. And, you know, again, it's not right. And I think from the perspective of a Muslim institutional organization, one should both work against that kind of assumption and thinking, but one should also be prepared for its existence. One should be realistic about where one lives and that these sort of questions will be asked, and one should understand how one's answers are going to sound, if you know what I'm saying. So that's all I would say.
And I just want to tag something onto my response to you as well. Well, again, I don't think this is a case of sort of recurring cycle of prejudice in America. I don't see it that way at all. In fact, I think we're still dealing with the ramifications of something that is unprecedented in this country, which is noticeably missing almost entirely from the dialogue, which is 9/11. That changed the landscape. I mean, you can't pretend it didn't. To go, I would say we were more ignorant about Islam before that. To go from complete ignorance to now having a full menu of very serious questions is not, to me, a sort of breach in American values and tolerance at all. You know? So, and like I said, if the goal is to understand and to disabuse of prejudices, then let the questions be asked. That's the point. That's supposed to be the point of dialogue, interfaith dialogue. I don't see how you can have it one way, not the other.
Thank you. I know there was another question.
Hi, my name is Layla. I'm a physician assistant student here at Wagner. I'd like to commend you on a very thought-provoking and very lively discussion, and it was, of course, very civil, and that's the theme of my question, the civility with which this discussion was held. You know, unfortunately, most people don't get their topical dialogue from a college forum. They get it from cable news. So in that, cable news with the Spitfire talk and, you know, say this before the next commercial break. I mean, do any of you feel in a way that the way with which this dialogue on the various forms of media has, in a way, exacerbated the loudness and the kind of like, you know, misinformation that has come along with this whole, you know, debate and discussion?
I don't think there's any doubt that it has. You know, when someone can ignite a furor by posting something on Twitter, it's 140 characters. I mean, I don't understand how we can even think of that as a reasoned opinion. I mean, I'm learning a lot tonight. I mean, I'm learning a lot about AIDS opposition or discomfort or however you might describe it. That's important for me to learn as well. And I don't know if it's changed my opinion, but it's deepened my understanding, and I hope all of you have felt the same way too. And I've certainly learned a lot from Haroon, and so I think you're right, this kind of discussion is the way we'd like to have it. You know, there's always been bitter, perhaps even violent debate in this country. I mean, remember, we did have a civil war, like we really, really disagreed with each other. The difference now is everything is quick and amplified and magnified. And I think it just means that you who are students have to be more discerning about where you get your news and opinion, and read as much as you can, especially the things that you disagree with or you think you'll disagree with, so that you'll understand it better. You have a lot more work to do, because in a sense you have to curate what is out there and decide what is worth listening to and not. It's a great privilege to live in a society that is so free with information and opinion, and it's also a big obligation. So, ask that there be more conversations like this, where you can take part and learn something, and maybe counterbalance the other stuff that you find that's out there that is so diminishing of civic dialogue.
Is there a final question for our panelists before we wrap this up? No? Okay, would you please join me in thanking them for coming out this evening?